Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. In this video, we begin with a post from the subreddit Relationship Advice that is just hallucinating. Then we move on to some pro-revenge, and then some malicious compliance. So like always, if you want to move around the video, just use the timestamps right below it. Now, let's get started with that first story. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's by user Kinda Broken Hearted. My 28 female husband, 26 male, took his ex's 26 female side, kissed her, and went to a bar with her to spite me. I am still a little shaken up by what happened. I really need advice on what to do, how to fix this, what is right or wrong. So, my husband's good friend was living with us over the summer. Since it will conceivably be the last summer he's going to be here, he often had friends and whatnot over to visit. Well, the night before he left, a friend invited over a ton of his friends and his sister, who also happens to be my husband's long-term ex-girlfriend. They were pretty serious, dated from when they were 15 to 19. She immediately starts acting like nothing has changed between them, like she's still his girlfriend, behaving cutely, asking him to do things for her, etc. At one point, she's eating chicken wings. We ordered a ton of food, and despite this awkward mess, I hung around. And chokes a little on the spiciness. My husband offers her a paper towel, and she thanks her Sky Bear. This is when I ungraciously flipped my crap. I tell her not to call him that, and she needs to leave, right now. My husband immediately brittles and stands up for her. No, she doesn't. She's not going anywhere. I am a little stunned. I have no idea what to say, but I back down, not wanting to push him. Okay, she doesn't have to leave, but I'm going. And it's weird that the person in this situation who's the wife has to leave. Fine, he retorts and tells me that he and his ex and his friend are all going to the bar. And no, I'm not invited. I leave and go to bed, but before they go, I go down to use the bathroom and see him and his ex kissing. Mortified, I run back to bed. He joins me about 3 hours later, well past midnight. I ask him why he's acting the way he has been, and he admitted he just didn't like me reacting so strongly against his ex, and my tone irked him. We fell asleep, and I have no idea what to say or do. Apparently, my irrational bitchiness drove my husband to kiss his ex and go out with her to a bar for a few hours without me. Now, what the F do I do? Well, OP, in my opinion, you confront him. You don't mention if you've seen her in other social gatherings or anything like that, so I don't know if there's a history right now between them, apart from them going out when they were kids. So I don't know if you would find proof in social media or anything like that that he's cheating on you. But he did kiss his ex, and that is cheating. So you confront him by telling him what you saw. And then you guys have to talk and see what happens next. Now, there is no excuse for him kissing his ex, regardless of your mood or your attitude or whatever you said. So, not liking the way you spoke to his ex does not excuse or validate what he did. And his ex thanking him with the pet name and all that stuff is also way out of line for her. And I think it was right that you told her that she shouldn't call him that, but maybe kicking her out was a bit too much? I don't know. What do you guys think? What would you have done if you were in OP's shoes? What kind of advice would you give her? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Burly Q Girl says, most men don't respond to their wife being rude to another woman by almost instantly making out with the other woman. I'd be pretty surprised if this was the first instance of inappropriate behavior between the two of them. Before we got to the kissing, I was going, oh well, maybe she didn't realize she was being overly flirty and inappropriate. You're right, you could have set some boundaries in a more low-key way. But hell, clearly she did realize exactly how girlfriendy she was being, and clearly your husband was on board with it. And he supposedly did it to spite you. I hope he doesn't feel like that mitigates his behavior at all. There's not a, it's not cheating if you're doing it to piss off your spouse rule. Lol. Gold T33F says, wait, what? Listen, this isn't your fault. He's just a D. What in the actual F? This is unacceptable behavior on his part, and you need to talk to him and tell him if he ever disrespects your marriage like that again, you're dropping his ass. Take control of the situation. Don't let him do crap like this. Earth to Marzipan says, how can you even fathom being okay with this? Your husband likes exes so much? Now he'll have 2 of them. Opie's edit. Based on all of your reactions, it gave me the courage to confront my husband. I really don't know what to say. He was completely confused. He told me such an event never happened. He hasn't talked to his ex in years, much less kissed her, and he would never think inviting her over without consulting me would be okay. I texted his friend, and he didn't remember ever doing something like this either, inviting over a ton of people and sister. I even texted a person invited over. He kind of laughed and said he hadn't been over to our house in months. I texted him the same time I was texting husband's friends, so there was no way for them to collude. I am so scared. Edit 2. My husband came home. He was scared when he say the mess I made, he thinks this is serious. He gave me a NyQuil and I am getting ready for bed. I am going to bed. There's nothing more to say tonight. Good night. Thank you. Goodbye. I am going to give him my phone. So the community had different reactions, but it was all rendered moot by OP's first edit, because that second edit didn't make any sense to me. But the first edit was a bit scary. None of this ever happened. The husband doesn't remember having the party, the friends don't remember being there in months, and apparently the ex-girlfriend was never there. Now, before we move on to the update, I'd like to read more information that I got from OP's comments in this first post. So let's continue with that. The party should have happened the day before my friend left, which was a Monday. But it couldn't have been because I remember that Monday. Friend came in, told us he was going to hang out with his sister and his friends, and he hugged us goodbye in case he didn't see us the next day, which is when he left. I don't even remember thinking about the party before today. I just remember being upset with my husband all day because of it. I can remember every day since my husband's friend left, and I can't fit the party in any of those days. I checked the garbage cans and there's nothing there. There should have been a big mess from the party, but I can't find anything. I would have remembered cleaning up and feeling pissed about it, but there's nothing but normal garbage from the week. There are no extra dishes out of place, there are no leftovers, and there was a ton of food, like 3 pizzas and 5 boxes of wings, plus someone brought Chinese. And there was a ton of soda, and now I can't find any of it. The paper towels aren't even out of place. They're full, just like I left them. My phone has nothing. My husband says he remembers his friend dropping in, saying he was going to hang out with his sister and friends, and then coming back disappointed because everyone was being an a-hole that night. Then, a friend wanted to get Chinese food and wanted us to come along because he felt lonely. I may have dreamt it, since I can't remember my husband's friend mentioning inviting anyone over before the event, like asking us if it was okay, which he always did before, especially his sister, who has never come over before, or the one particular friend I texted because my husband and I don't get along with him. I am so effing scared right now. I swear, I am not crazy. I'm really not, but this sort of thing used to happen to my grandmother. I don't want it to happen to me. I don't want to tell my husband. It was probably all just a dream. I think I will ask my husband's friend's girlfriend. She wasn't there, but he may have mentioned it to her. Okay, so more information and it gets a little bit weirder. At this point, what do you guys think? Pause the video and let me know in the comment section what you think is going on. And now, let's move on with the update to see what actually happened. Hey guys, great update. First, thank you all for your outpouring of love and support. I got on this morning and was overwhelmed by all your love, help, and compassion. You guys give me hope for humanity. And thanks to the a-hole who told me I was a crazy drama floozy that my husband should dump me and get a restraining order. So yesterday morning, my husband took me to the doctors, who asked me a lot of the questions you guys did. No, I didn't hit my head recently. No, I don't take recreational drugs. However, I have been feeling ill lately. So the night I had the dream hallucinations, I had taken NyQuil and Benadryl to help me sleep and not drown in my own snot. Oh, and I also had a few hot toddies, so alcohol. Apparently, Benadryl has been known to cause weird reactions in perfectly normal people, such as vivid hallucinations or waking dreams. So instead of scheduling expensive tests, we chalked it up to weird drug interactions. We're told to come back if anything similar happened and to get a damn PCP. My husband took me home and I slept. By the way, while I was freaking out and still hopped up on drugs, I did check the call records and his ex's number wasn't on the call or text list. I honestly didn't even think about what I was doing while I was doing it. I was like, hey, I think my allergies are more severe today, when I started coughing and couldn't breathe, so I took a Benadryl. And then I realized I was actually getting sick, so I unthinkingly took NyQuil so I could sleep. And then I was getting chills a little while later, so I mixed myself up a hot toddy and felt better. Fell asleep pretty damn fast. OP's edit. Yeah, guys, in retrospect, mixing two kinds of drugs that apparently never knew this, and thanks for telling me because I wouldn't have known, do the same thing was really damn stupid. I won't be doing it again. Also, probably never taking acetaminophen either, judging from some of your comments, or alcohol. Also, I'm actually really relieved I'm not alone in the whole mind trip thing. I'm sorry for anyone who experienced what I did and doubt their own reality. Okay, well now we know. OP never makes those things again and add alcohol to it. I'm sure not gonna do that. But apart from your waking hallucination, nothing bad really happened, like your husband wasn't cheating on you, which is the good thing about this whole situation. So thanks for sharing, OP, and all the best in the future. Take care, and now we move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Pro Revenge, and it's by user Gadget Owns Me. X yelled and had a temper tantrum about child support at his job and blamed me in court for it. The next time I had to go to his work, he regretted it. My friend said to post this here. My ex is an abusive pile of crap and we had a kid together. I left him while I was pregnant, but I would take the baby to see him on his lunch hour occasionally. He paid $29 a month in child support for a very long time. I got it reviewed when he got that job and it went up to $89 a month. When he found out how much it went up, he threw a screaming temper tantrum in his work and chased me out of the building with our 9-month-old baby. We had family court a few days later and he blamed me for everything. He got his friend to lie and say he was there and I started it. The judge thankfully didn't believe him, but I was told to continue these terrible visits to his work. Now for the revenge. He worked at a furniture rental store and he would constantly badmouth customers in very detailed ways. The next and last time I took our baby there, I sat down with a small notepad and wrote down the names he and the other person said. How many months they said they were behind, how much they said owed, and every name he and his buddy called every single person. There were quite a few racial slurs said that day. When the time was up, he had to leave, and I told his boss. The boss didn't do a damn thing. I knew 3 people he was badmouthing, and I knew how to get in touch with 5 or so others. I worked my way through that list, telling people exactly how their personal financial information was being released and the names they were called. He and his buddy lost their jobs the next day and the owner filed a restraining order against them. I didn't feel bad at all. OP's edit. This happened almost 20 years ago, so my child is safe and an adult now. I haven't made my way through all the comments, but I am not a psycho. I went to his work because I was told to by the mediator. I would sit as far away from him as possible and read for school. This was the arrangement we all agreed on and it had worked well for several visits before that day. The boss didn't do anything because they were friends. How did I make it without getting almost no support? I worked 2 jobs, one of which I could take my kiddo with me most of the time. My family and friends were very helpful. I did it all because I had to. Wow, OP, your ex sounds like an awesome guy. That is sarcasm, by the way. Anyway, OP, good for you for doing everything you could for your child. Good to know they grew up well. Thanks for sharing and take care. Now let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user VizZlaman. Only take breaks when I tell you to. Sure, no problem. I used to work at a call center where we would get flooded with calls constantly. This is a story of how a busybody boss thought they understood everything since they were in charge. At work, we were given 2 15-minute breaks and 1 45-minute lunch break. The breaks were scheduled into our day so you could see when they would be, but this would change day by day. My role was a bit different than the normal agents as I was specifically dealing with the higher issue calls. These calls could take up to 1 hour to complete, and the caller would need to stay on the line unless they were fine with a call back later, but this was rarely the case. Since I never knew when I would be getting these calls, my break times were a shot in the dark if I would or wouldn't be on a call. I would just take them as soon as the call was done if they ever intersected, which they did 99% of the time. Enter my boss. During a performance review, I hit all the marks except for attendance. I asked about this, as I know I missed a few days, but always with a reasonable update for the time frame, and never had a no-show day, where there is no warning that I'm not coming in. My boss stated that attendance also applies to break and lunch times, and since I rarely took them at their requested time, I was getting written up. I explained my role, what they hired me for, and the challenges involved. They did not care and stated I needed to take breaks when I was told to. I asked for them to send me an email so that I could print it out, put it on my desk, and never forget again. My boss smiled ear to ear, probably because they thought I was groveling at that point, and sure enough, they did, stating in the email, "You must take your breaks only when the schedule tells you to, no time else, there is no excuse." I saved it, printed it out, sent a copy to my own email, and followed it to the letter. The next call that happened that same day, of course, had the long call crossing over with a break issue. I asked the customer if it would be okay for a callback. They said no. I stated that unfortunately I cannot stay on the line as I am required to take my break. They became enraged and demanded to speak with my boss. I told my boss. They said I needed to apologize and finish the call. I showed them the email they just sent me and said, "You told me to take my break at this time no matter what. I'm just doing what you told me to do. I'm taking my break. Would you like the customer transferred over or should I just hang up?" They took the call over, and from that day on, I never had a missed attendance mark. God, busybody bosses are the worst. Nicely done, OP. That wasn't just malicious compliance, you owned your boss for being an idiot. Thanks for sharing, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing and it is fantastic. All of the relevant links are in the video description below, so be sure to check them out. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.